Good morning. I'm here at the Longs Peak trailhead, located inside Rocky Mountain National Park. And today, I'm going to go for something a little different. I'm basically going to hike it up to Granite Pass, up and over Battle Mountain, down to Storm Pass, and then back to the trailhead. Should make for a nice little loop. I think I'm looking at right around 10 miles in total, with just over a 3,000 foot elevation gain. Official start time, 7:05. And it looks like they've still got the sign up for Chad Palanch, who is still missing. And after a few minutes, I've made it out to the Eugenia Mine Trail Split. And if all works out according to the plan, I should be looping it back on this trail to the right. And this is the maiden voyage of the brand new green puffy thermal ball jacket. I got it for my birthday. And already it's getting warm out here, so it's time to take it off. But it was comfortable for the first 10 minutes. And this is going to be my season grand finale hike. It's not the most epic hike, but I didn't want to go for one of the big mountains because they do have snow on them, and I didn't want to get up there and hike fail and then blow the whole thing. So I'm going for something that I'm pretty confident I can get. But it's been a great season, done a lot of awesome hikes, and this is going to be the grand finale. I'm approaching the Goblin's Forest campsite, and my goodness, my legs are not working today. I feel like a ton of bricks walking up this thing. Hopefully I'll get warmed up here soon, but so far this is rough. And this is the 4th time that I've done this trail this season, and frankly, I'm getting a little bit tired of it. I was out here for Storm Peak, Peacock Pool, and Longs Peak. And I cannot foresee hiking this thing again for quite a while. Maybe next year, my mom and I will come out and do Chasm Lake. But until then, I'm done with this thing. Geez, it's not even winter yet, and we've already got down trees. I'm gonna have to go under that one and hopefully not rip the back of my neck open on one of those branches. Geez, Nick, don't you think you're being a little over dramatic? Yeah. And I'm hiking along a trail of sunflower seed shells, which is an indication that dumb people have been out here. I realize people think that they need to act like a squirrel when they're out here hiking and eat nuts and seeds, but you're not. You're not a squirrel. And let's pretend that you actually eat that stuff when you're at home. Do you spit the shells out onto your floor? No. So don't do it out here. And I finally made it up to the Alpine Tundra sign, which means I'm done with the trees. And it's pretty windy up here. And I'm not kidding. The thought of just turning around and going back is entering my mind. Yeah, I'm just not feeling this today. I've been hiking for almost an hour and a half, and I've only made it out here to Jims Grove Junction, which is 2.5 miles away from the trailhead. So I'm not going very fast. I just need to keep grinding and make it up there to Granite Pass. And then once I get up there, like 95% of the hard stuff is over. And if I can complete this loop, I'm going to call it the Battle Storm Loop. Battle Storm. Sounds like a G.I. Joe character. Battle Storm. That might be a G.I. Joe character. Heck, I don't know. I quit watching cartoons and collecting toys back when I was a child. Almost up to Chasm Junction. And why is this so hard today? My body feels like it just came out of a coma. Like total muscle atrophy. And in 2 hours and 15 minutes, I've made it up here to Chasm Junction. And I think that's my slowest time ever hiking solo. And up here at Chasm Junction, I ran into Eric Stensland, who is also a fellow YouTuber. And he also has a gallery in Estes Park. So go check it out. But yeah, he's a real nice guy, and we chatted up here for a few minutes. But he's headed up to the Keyhole. All right, I just took a really long break up here at Chasm Junction. Talked to Eric Stensland, and I ate my power beans already. Yeah, I need the power now. And I'm passing by the Millennium Falcon crash site, and that's just a real shame. But that's what happens when you let Princess Leia fly it. I mean, Han Solo might be a scruffy looking nerf herder, but at least he's a competent pilot. I'm getting a lot closer to Granite Pass out there. And then once I make it out to Granite Pass, I'm gonna bounce it across the top of Battle Mountain and then take it on down to Storm Pass. And although you got a bunch of high points along the top of Battle Mountain, I believe that's going to be the summit right there. And in 3 hours and 10 minutes, I've made it up here to Granite Pass. Thank God. It's a little chilly up here. And then what I'm going to do next is start taking it across the top of Battle Mountain and then eventually drop it down to Storm Pass. All right, let's do it. Let's start hiking across Battle Mountain. And that wind is whipping up here. Big time. And it is pretty cold and windy up here. Holy moly. But I found this nice rock to hide behind. And this is the view from my spot. And that's looking over at Mount Lady, Washington and big old Longs Peak. And I'm freezing my butt off up here. I just put the brand new green puffy thermal ball jacket back on, my stocking cap, and I busted out my backup pair of gloves. And I'm wearing those under my convertible mittens. Once I can make it across the top of this mountain and then drop it back down into the trees, it should get a lot warmer down there. I'll at least be out of this wind. And this terrain is savage. I'm moving pretty slow, trying not to step into any holes. It looks like it's going to get better up here though. Yeah, this is already getting better. That first part was chunky. And I believe that is going to be the summit right there. I think I'm going to go ahead and take it on up to the summit, or at least close to the summit. And once I get up there, I'm going to take a break. Beautiful up here. Almost up there. I just need to climb up these rocks right here, and then I'll be up on the top. All right. Summit, Battle Mountain. And this is awesome. Epic views. And that's looking over at Twin Sisters. And you know what time it is up here on Battle Mountain. Pepperoni beef stick time. And these are the views from the spot. Amazing. You can see so many different mountains sticking up. Too many to name. And this is what I've got left. I need to bounce it across the top and then probably take it down on the far side of that high point out there. I'll have to bushwhack through some trees, and then hopefully I'll end up at Storm Pass. That's the plan anyway. All right, it's 11:30. I'm not sure how long it took to get up here. I'm not sure how long I've been sitting up here. But it's time to go. It's time to head on back. I've made it down off the summit, and now I'm just gonna take it across the top here, over that far high point, and hopefully down to Storm Pass. It should get a little bushwhacky in there, but fingers crossed. I'm hoping that it's not too bad. And as soon as that sun came out, man, it warmed up big time. This keeps looking like it's going to be nice terrain, but it's not. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Just constant rocks sticking up, so you really got to watch where you step. And this has turned into a straight up heat wave out here. My goodness. I had to stop and take the jacket off once again. I stashed my hiking poles in the backpack, and I'm feeling much better. I got my hands free. Yeah, baby. And that's looking back at where I've come from. Awesome. I'm getting pretty close to that high point out there. And what I think I'm going to do is skirt it to the right. And then once I take it up and over, the next goal is going to be to aim directly for Estes Cone. And then that should take me straight down to Storm Pass. And that's looking down at Estes Cone. And my theory is that if I stay in line with it, I should end up at Storm Pass. Because Storm Pass is basically the saddle in between Battle Mountain and Estes Cone. And as I come over the hill, I'm seeing a couple knobs out here that I'm going to have to navigate. And those could get interesting. Huh. So what I'm doing is basically taking it diagonal down this slope, and then I'm going to swing it around those two knobs to the north. I'm coming around the first knob, and the thing that's saving me right now is that I've got this previously routed from last year when I bushwhacked up from Eugenia Mine. Yeah, it's pretty much going to be the same route down until the very end, where I'm going to have to aim more towards Estes Cone. But yeah, that route is saving me right now. It's showing me exactly where to go. Otherwise, I would have got bushed out. Yeah, it's a straight, like, land of the little trees. Yeah, this next part is looking good. I'm seeing mostly rocks. And there's definitely a nice open area to hike down. At least for a little bit. I'm going to have to hit those trees sooner or later, though. And this is getting nasty through here. These are not the kind of trees I was hoping for. I mean, this is bad through here, but it could be so much worse. So much worse. I'm coming down an incredibly steep section right here. Yeah, this part goes straight down. And I just checked the GPS and I'm still 0.8 of a mile away from Storm Pass. And that's in a straight line. And although this next part is incredibly steep, I think I'm looking good. I can see a path down it. And I can also see Moore Park out there. That little open area. I'm going to be hiking right by that on the way back. And check out the angle of this thing. That's steep. And this thing is a knee blower outer on the way down. Dang. But it's looking good for the foreseeable future. I just need to keep heading straight for Estes Cone. The bad news is that I'm deep in the trees now, and this is going to get pretty congested. But the good news is that I've come down the real steep section, and this should flatten out a little bit. Okay, I don't want to jinx this. However, these trees are leaving me just enough room to get by. This isn't too bad. As long as I can keep moving, I'll get there eventually. Ooh, just came across some bones. And this bushwhack is working out. I was getting a little worried there at the top. I was like, oh my goodness. There was one little part where I had to like swim across the trees, and I put a tiny little snag in my shirt. But if that's the worst thing that happens, that's not too bad. And I'm way under Estes Cone now, and the terrain has really flattened out a lot, which is very pleasant. But I just checked the GPS and I'm still a whopping half mile away from Storm Pass. And look at this through here. This is nice. I wish all bushwhacks were like this. Because the thing that's making it real enjoyable is that there's not a jillion down trees through here. It's just nice and open. You can walk freely. Yeah, I'm loving it. And I'm merging back with the trail. And I just barely missed Storm Pass. It should be right here. Yep, I can see the signs out there. It's just now 1:35, So that took me 2 hours and 5 minutes to get to Storm Pass from the summit of Battle Mountain. And I'm gonna sit here for a few minutes and drink my expired vitamin water. And you've got a bunch of trails leading up here to Storm Pass. The first one off the left is either 3 miles out to the Wind River Trail, or if you keep going, it's 4.5 out to Bear Lake Road. The trail in the middle is the one that leads up to the top of Estes Cone. You're looking at 7/10 of a mile up to the summit. And then the next one will take you out to Lily Lake in 3 miles. And then the one over here to the right is the one that I'm going to be wanting, and that's 2.5 miles back down to the Longs Peak trailhead. Well, it's just now 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's getting a little late. Time to take it on back to the trailhead. And I'm looking at 2.5 miles. And this should be the easiest 2.5 miles of the whole hike. And I'm slightly bummed that I didn't drop in on Storm Pass perfectly like I had wanted to. But my GPS deceived me once again. Coming up to Moore Park on the left, and then that big mountain out there in front of me is Battle Mountain. And I was just up there. And the one negative thing about this Eugenia Mine Trail is that from Moore Park all the way back to the Eugenia Mine, it's pretty much all uphill. It's not bad, but it's not really what you want to do on the way back. Passing by the Eugenia Mine, and then I'm going to cross over the Inn Brook. And I was thinking I could have filled up my water bottle right here, but I don't need it. And what a nice way to end the hiking season. Yeah, this wasn't too crazy of a hike, but it was solid. I had a fun time. But I wasn't having a fun time at the beginning. That whole way up to Granite Pass, I just wanted to turn around and go back. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I pushed on and completed the Battle Storm loop. And just when you think the uphill is over, it's not. All right, Battle Storm loop complete. Another half mile back down to the trailhead. And I'm back, Longs Peak trailhead. It's just now 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so that took 1 hour to get back from Storm Pass. It probably took me 4 hours or so to get up to the summit of Battle Mountain. Another 2 hours and 5 minutes to get from Battle Mountain down to Storm Pass. And then 1 hour to get from Storm Pass back to the trailhead. And the total mileage on that is over 10 miles with over a 3,000 foot elevation gain. So it was a pretty solid hike. And like I said, that is the grand finale hike of the season. I hope you guys enjoyed all the hikes this year. It was a great summer. My mom and I did a lot of epic ones, but it looks like the nice weather is pretty much over. But don't worry, I'm going to continue to hike as much as possible all throughout the winter. Heck, I plan on hiking again in 2 more days. Well, I hope you enjoyed that hike. And until the next one, y'all, peace.